Hello, and welcome back to MoviePod, a Reclaimed Cinema podcast. I'm your host, Brian Wishart. This week we're talking about a film that I believe is better than last week's episode, Digimon the Movie. It's a film that had a tepid response when it first came out, and it was seen as a visually impressive but a dull and unwieldy movie. It had a mediocre box office, and that caused the director to change course in future projects because of the tepid box office. Cinematography was lauded, and since release it has been reappraised as one of director Stanley Kubrick's major works, and is considered to be one of the greatest films of all time. We're talking about Barry Lyndon this week. This week I'm joined by Daberhasher. How's it going, Dabber?
Oh, it's going well. Thanks for having me.
Glad to have you on. So, what's your general experience with Barry Lyndon as a movie?
It wasn't the first Kubrick I saw, but it wasn't, it wasn't in the stage of me, I guess, doing the cleanup and watching the extras. I think I saw it probably either right after high school or toward the end of high school. And one of my best friends at the time, who I watched a lot of movies with, and he knew a bit more than me, said that I should skip Barry Lyndon and Eyes Wide Shut because they're like the worst movies he'd ever seen. Uh-huh. I'm not going to blame a high schooler for not finding the fun in those. But when I saw Barry Lyndon, I was immediately like, "Oh, this is so for me. It's so funny and it's so pretty, and it has this really nice sort of loping pace. I don't mind long movies. I kind of like to sink into and bask into something that's long like that. So when I saw it, I was immediately really taken with it, and it's become a real comfort movie for me over the years. It's not the Kubrick I've seen the most, but I don't know if I can pick favorites or anything, but I hold it in the same esteem as I would Eyes Wide Shut or like 2001, which are also my favorites. So.
Well, you named your cat after this movie.
Okay. My cat was named after Barristan the Bold, Barristan Selmy, Harvest.
I thought it was Barry Lyndon for some reason. I'm sure you told me this before, but just in my mind, I was like, oh, wait, this is the guy who named his cat after Barry Lyndon.
It got shortened to Barry really quickly.
Yeah.
Because
Barristan's a bit of a long name. Barristan's a good name for a cat, too. Yeah.
He really grew into it, so yeah, it was a good name for him. But no, I have since given up on incorporating my fandoms into my pets. I don't think I'm going to do that next time.
Yeah, so Barry Lyndon, I only watched it for the first time. Like, it was the last Kubrick movie I watched. So I saw Eyes Wide Shut in the theater, December 2024, so 13 months ago, kind of thing. And then I was like, all right, Barry Lyndon's the last one to watch. And the reason why it took me a long time to watch it is the DVD I have of it, it's how's it described? 1 second. So the format of the DVD has presented it in a matted widescreen format, preserving the aspect ratio of its original camera negative. So on my screen, it looked so tiny and small and really badly pixelated. It's this is not the right way to watch it at all. So I just borrowed the Criterion from my library this time, December 2024 kind of thing, and watched it the first time, and I was completely blown away by it. I heard it's a gorgeous movie, but I was not surprised. I was not expecting it to be as funny as it is. It's an absolutely hilarious movie.
Yeah. We'll probably talk about this in the reception section, but I think that's a real problem with this movie and with pitching it, is that it appears so academic and stuffy. When what it's doing is it's setting up that world, and then Barry Lyndon just cuts through it like a hot knife.
Yeah.
And so he's walking into these stuffy situations and being hilarious. And I really think that people have been guilty of over intellectualizing this movie a little bit. There's obviously a lot of awesome stuff to be found in the themes and whatnot, but I also think that if you just tell somebody to just sit down and watch it because it's funny and entertaining, I think that sounds a lot more appealing, and I think it's a lot more accurate of the experience of Barry Lyndon.
Yeah, because none of the original reviews I saw for the movie talk about the humor of it. It's really just, as I said, it's a long movie that it's visually spectacular, but it's a dense thing. But like it kind of is kind of hypnotic in a way. And like I know that when it was released on VHS, it was like evenly split into 2 acts. So like this movie's 3 hours and like 5 minutes long, and like has an intermission right in the middle. It splits evenly right in two, and like I ended up watching this in 2 parts due to timing, and like you can actually watch this movie as like, you know, just a 2-parter, and like it's an absolute blast. You don't feel the length of it at all, especially if you're splitting up a little bit. But even as a 3-hour movie, this movie zips right by. It's very hypnotic.
Yeah, there's really no part where I'm like, okay, now for the, you know, the section where he's doing this or something. Like everything he goes to do, I get excited, and it's so well structured around. I sort of feel like a lot of it is like the mentors that Barry has, like in his life. Like he goes from place to place where he's like mentored by these male figures, and every time we enter one of those scenes, I get so excited because it's good stuff, and the movie never stops getting prettier, which is a nice thing too. Like it doesn't really blow it all right away on being gorgeous. Like it scales that up throughout the film and does it in different and interesting ways. So that's another thing that I know the reception really talked about was like, oh, okay, Mr. composes a shot, like really well lit, yeah, oh, painterly, like I don't know what possibly could have met the expectations that people had for Kubrick at the time. I have a question. How much do you think that the sort of refusal that the public had to this had to do with Ryan O'Neal?
Good point. Yeah, because I'm not sure if the news broke out at this point in time where because Paper Moon was just before this, and one of the set stories for Barry Lyndon is that Tatum O'Neal, his daughter, got nominated for Paper Moon for an Oscar, but he did not. And apparently Kubrick punched his own daughter. Not Kubrick. Ryan O'Neal punched Tatum O'Neal. My bad.
Kubrick has such a famously collaborative and beautiful relationship with his daughter.
Okay. Yeah. So Ryan O'Neal punched his own daughter on the set of this movie, and I think it was Kubrick's wife that witnessed it happen. So. But there's like a lot of like tabloid crackdown for this movie too, because he wanted to be a bit more secretive because Kubrick kind of hated how he's working with A Clockwork Orange, all the speculation that happened with it, so he kind of kept it more of a secret set. But yeah, like Ryan O'Neal had a pretty bad reputation. He was a leading
radioactive, yeah,
complete radioactive.
The stories are god awful about him and Tatum O'Neal, but I mean, that's what makes Paper Moon so compelling, and while their relationship in that movie is amazing to see it captured in that way. But I think the public was just so pissed off that I don't think that putting Ryan O'Neal there is putting yourself in a very good position.
And it's funny because like Warner Brothers, for the funding of this movie, is that like we need to have like a top 10 box office star to be in your movie. So like Kubrick's like, okay, well, like he was top 10 last year, so I'm gonna throw him in. But that's like saying like, I don't know, like getting Cillian Murphy to be like, oh, Cillian Murphy's the highest gross movie, like the Oppenheimer, let's have him be the box office star. Like, no, like sometimes there's not correlation with it too. Like some actors can open movies, some actors cannot.
Yeah, and then you put Ryan O'Neal in 18th century aristocracy. Is his own beautiful and funny thing to watch unfold. And I also understand why a lot of people might respond to that being like, what is this goofball doing? Like, why does he talk like that? Like, he looks like he's walking around inside of a world that is not his. But in so many ways, that really serves the plot of the movie. It really serves how you're supposed to feel about Barry Lyndon.
Yeah. And also, like, they have the second build on the poster is like Ryan O'Neal and Marissa Berenson. Marissa Berenson shows up like 90 minutes in the movie. like you have, it's basically all in one guy's back for most of the runtime before you get to the second major star of the film. And yeah, like Ryan O'Neal was a very like radioactive guy. Like he's probably one of the most unlikable people in Hollywood history. Like he has to be, right? Like
yeah, I don't want to dig all the way into the Wikipedia sections and stuff, but the stories are around the worst things you can imagine for parental relationships. I don't think there's anything to be said about like Ryan O'Neal being a good guy or whatever.
No.
But that's not really what we're here to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I wonder if it is like a lot of like just like if you, I know that Kubrick at one point wanted to get Robert Redford in this role, and I'd be curious about that because like I think that Robert Redford didn't make as much money at this point in time. Robert Redford's career is going to take off like immediately after this.
Yeah.
But I don't think Robert Redford could do this performance as well because there's some sort of a slick, lost quality that Ryan O'Neal has in this movie. That Robert
He's also
Redford
kind of boyish, like for his age. He's still kind of has a sort of boyish wonder that I think Robert Redford and his catcher's mitt face might complicate the scenes with his cousin playing Killarney.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. But it's funny because like this movie takes place like it starts off in 1750 and it ends I think like 1780. What year is it? It ends in 1789. Like, and it does not look like Ryan O'Neal and Barry Lyndon age much at all.
No, no. He has like a gut by the end. But at the beginning, he has like very pronounced lines in his forehead and stuff. So
yeah.
They just trust that we're moving along quickly enough that it's not going to be that big of a deal, and you would rather just see him do it than a different actor.
Yeah, like the only noticeable time jump we get is when like Bullingdon like ages up into like a different actor.
Yeah. He's played by two actors, and then of course the star of the film Brian is portrayed by two actors as well.
Mm-hmm. But like no other character like looks like they've aged a day from start to finish.
No. The Lady Lyndon gets more wan, I will say. Like as the film goes on, you see her age spiritually and emotionally, but no, she's just as beautiful by the end as she is at the beginning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So some production details here. So like after 2001: Space Odyssey, Kubrick really wanted to make a Napoleon biopic, so I started doing research around the 17th, 18th century, those periods, and started doing some location scouting. But then the Dino De Laurentiis production of Waterloo in 1970 was such a massive box office bomb that studios started kind of pulling away funding from historical epics. They weren't like, you can't capture the glory days of like the 40s, 50s, the Ten Commandments anymore. Like people were just not watching these movies anymore. Kubrick lost his funding, so like, all right, I'm going to just adapt Clockwork Orange. That's my next project. After Clockwork Orange, Kubrick wanted to be a little bit secretive of what he was going to do because he didn't like all speculation the press did around Clockwork Orange. Warner Brothers offered a lot of money to bankroll his next project because they saw like Kubrick's work in the 60s was a legendary run, right? Like you have like Doctor Strangelove, you have like Lolita, 2001: Space Odyssey, so many Spartacus. Like you have so many movies that like were instant classics. And it's actually kind of funny because like one of the rumors of movies that Kubrick could have been working on, they thought that the press thought he was going to be adapting a dream story into a movie, which he does in 1999 with Eyes Wide Shut, but it took him a long time to get there. Like,
so I was also thinking, I mean, I know it's like the stupid like instant like dream wish cast for everything, but I was thinking that Cruise would be great as Barry Lyndon. He might be a bit young for the later things, but he has that sort of lack of internality, aloofness,
100%,
sort of like shark eyes-ness to him. Yeah,
and I think it works so well with Eyes Wide Shut, his character in that movie. And yeah, I think you're 100% correct. They are very similar protagonists. Like Eyes Wide Shut's my favorite Kubrick movie. Like I think Barry Lyndon's number 2 for me. And I think it is these sort of male performances in the lead, male specifically because of how they're interacting with the world and like how empty they seem on the inside, and just like they're operating on instinct, but every instinct they have is wrong.
Yeah, I love the similarities of Eyes Wide Shut and After Hours, where it's just like sort of this comedy of errors with a guy with a boner.
Yep.
It's a really refillable genre. It's always funny. I always enjoy it. Beau is Afraid. I would sort of put in a similar bucket.
Have you seen Marty Supreme yet?
I haven't.
It's very much like the Safdie Bros have their genre movies like Good Time Uncut Gems with someone completely desperate. But this is some like Marty Supreme is a very like boisterous kind of like almost like a complete rogue, even more so than Sandler in Uncut Gems.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite movies of the past year. Like it's like, I was rewatching it because I saw like Marty Supreme like back like a couple weeks ago, and watching Barry Lyndon, I was like, oh, there's a lot of similarities there with some when like moving up and down with his in his class and trying to like elevate his stature and everything, you know, just trying to go with the flow in an absolutely wild way and a crazy journey.
Yeah, I mean, like, the movie is structured around 2 acts, a rise and a fall, but it's also structured in this interesting way, like the Safdie brothers movies are, where you're watching someone improvise in situations, and when they have that moment of opportunity where they can bail and maybe get an advantage, they do. And so the scenes build this tension to them, because you're like, I might never see this guy, like I'm probably never going to see this guy that he's talking to again, or you know, you never know. It doesn't present archetypes and characters in the traditional way, and it makes it really exciting as a viewer.
Yeah, because like this movie has a great supporting cast going around it too, like with so many great like British looking faces. Like there's not a lot of like pretty boys around. Like even like Bullingdon as a kid just has a very weird looking face. Like it's like
that kid's really good.
He's so good. Yeah, both kid actors in the movie are really effective with what they're asked to do. Like it's really good kid casting.
Yeah, I agree. I really like the guy who plays Captain Grogan. The kiss me boy.
Yeah, I actually have a copy of the book, Barry Lyndon, and I didn't have time to read it for this, but like I read a couple chapters and like flipped to something in the middle just so I can kind of get the idea of the internal, the first person narration that Barry Lyndon was doing as a character. Did you ever read the book at all?
I didn't. I honestly I wanted to avoid trying to get too educated about this movie to a certain degree. Like I was like, I want to approach it just as a viewer, like as somebody who is entertained by the events on screen, because there is so much you could look into about the 7 Years' War and the mercenary practices in European armies at the time, and how that interplays with like the collapse of this feudal landed lord society, and as that sort of like loses legitimacy, how it, you know, how you get gaps in that and stuff like that. Like I'm sure that there's a really awesome paper about that, and I'm sure that the book talks about it in a really smart way. I think that Barry Lyndon embarrassing people is very funny. Yeah. So like it seems like the book, like I just looked up a summary of the book. So the book has the original title of the book was The Luck of Barry Lyndon. It's written by William Makepeace Thackeray. And it seems like I looked at a synopsis, and it sounds like it follows the Kubrick movie follows the book pretty accurately. It cuts down some plots, like apparently Barry has like a rogue like uncle that he runs into, who goes on, like some sort of like little side mission with around the middle of the story, and the ending is completely different in the book, but for the movie. But a lot of it's all there with, like, you know, the stuff with the cousin, the stuff with going between different armies and such. Like, it's all there. So I'm really curious that you mentioned that it's told from the viewpoint of the internal monologue of Barry Lyndon, because that, I would say, is really counter to the movie. Because it's so external, and you only judge him by his actions. The narrator mentions his thoughts maybe a couple of times, but for the most part, it's all about watching him trying to like survive externally rather than seeing any internality.
Yeah, there's one scene in particular we'll get to, which I think is the narrator does a pitch perfect job of like to talk about Barry Lyndon and his own feelings and such. But so Ryan O'Neal, he says that he waited like a year and a half to come out for him to actually watch it, and he hated it because he thought that he was doing the narration for it. So I think that he may have actually recorded a narration for Barry Lyndon, so it would have been a sort of Barry Lyndon talking about his own feelings and stuff.
That's a really good idea for Kubrick, even if he didn't turn the microphone on, just for Ryan O'Neal's like ego and performance on set. Like if he's walking around picturing his voice in the minds of the viewer with that look on his face. Like, I think that serves the movie well.
100%, yeah. So, like, he's, like, upset that, like, some, like, stuffy British guy, it was Michael Hordern that did the narration, did it, and, like, I love the narration movie because, like, there's points of it, it's like Ron Howard and Arrested Development. The punchlines are so fucking fun, especially the very first scene. It's incredible. Like, and we can probably get into this right directly too. Actually, let's just move into the movie itself. And get the rest of the production details as we go along. But so like, we introduced Barry Lyndon, and so it opens up the credits like part 1. By what means Redmond and Barry acquired the style and title of Barry Lyndon. So it opens up in 18th century rural Ireland.
Yeah, and you've seen this card. The act cards of Barry Lyndon are well and thoroughly made.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw one just the other day for the final one that just like has the end quote of the movie, but it says at the very bottom, and oceans are battlefields. Master and Commander is also another very memeable title cards there. But this part's absolutely, like, this part, it's gorgeous the way it's shot there. So, like, it's wonderfully framed. So, like, there's a duel happening as all, traditional kind of, like, pistol duels, which is an insane practice where you have your seconds and stuff, observing the duel and everything. And, like, you see, there's, like, a stone fence, just men in the middle. You see the sea behind them. The colors are gorgeous. It's a beautiful looking, it's like a picture you're looking at. And the narrator says that Barry's father had been very well bred and went into the profession of law, and he would have been a very good member of his profession. And then it's like bang bang, and like the duel starts. Had he not been killed in a duel?
Well, and that's the really like interesting brutality of the era, is that there's this like formal way that these guys who are so concerned about manner are allowed to carry these things out, and Barry sort of like. He's like finds an exploit and speed runs feudalism with this one weird trick because he's like, oh, I can just shoot him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the Kyle Rittenhouse method, right? Like,
yeah,
it's like literally like, that is how now like back then like it's like you can kind of like do duels and stuff get in the way, but like nowadays like it's the falsity of civility. I think Mom Donnie had a statement about it too, like how like a lot of people they just kind of like pretend to be like, oh, you can't say mean words and stuff, we will be allowed to shoot you. Like, this is a very like uncivil kind of act to have in society where you just like settle your matters by shooting guns at each other. Like,
yeah, and just because it's 10 steps apart. I also thought it was really interesting that I don't think that for all the duels in the movie, I don't think that it's ever repeated with the same method. Like,
yeah, there's like different styles.
The two gun duels, right? Like the one with Jack Quinn, they both shoot at the same time, and then when he shoots against Lord Bullingdon at the end, they take turns, and then there's like a saber duel at one point, like with sharp edges, and one that's just the sort of fencing swords, and it's symbolic. So for it being such a customary thing, there doesn't really seem to be any custom to it.
Yeah, it's really strange, and like also even just like the like it's so funny because like all you hear about these duels and stuff with like the Burr Hamilton duel and like how there's specific rules and the gentleman way to do this, and you also see that the way they do war in this movie is that when they're fighting the French there, like it's literally just like you have people like playing their flutes and their drums and just like wearing their fancy coats and just marching steadily towards guys with guns shooting at you. And even the way the guns are reloaded back in the day, like you're taking your turns, you're being kind with like the way you're murdering each other.
Yeah, and that doesn't really get diffused until like World War One.
Yeah, where it's just like, and I love how the narrator says at one point in time, like, oh yeah, Barry got kind of spooked by war because the stories of being at war are different than listening to them singing in an armchair at home. Like,
yeah.
So like with Barry's dad is dead, so apparently this duel is over like a matter of horses, apparently. Which is like a silly way to die. But I guess it's like, a matter of like going to duel over your car or something now, right? Like it's the cars and the modern horse.
Well, the tradition now is what you'll do is you'll walk across your opponent and you'll shoulder check them really hard, usually in like a sports stadium or a chicken wing restaurant or something like that. And then you'll know that there's the calling out, that's you demand satisfaction outside to my fucking face. And it's largely the same.
Except this is happening on like beautiful Irish countryside and not in like an IHOP.
Well, yeah. And I'm now picturing the duel happening by the beautiful riverside, and everyone's holding phones, just like videotaping it.
I saw it somehow popped up on my Twitter again. Remember the Bagel Boss guy?
Oh, yeah. How could you forget the Bagel Boss guy?
It's just like, a short little angry dude getting so mad about something, and like everyone's just videotaping him, and like he's just like, "I'll take us outside." And the guy's like, "No, like, I don't want to do that."
He says, "You're not my father" to him. Like, it's so beautiful.
Yeah, because that's a modern duel. But yeah, you're right. Everyone's just recording it now. Like it's.
Yeah.
I'm honestly surprised that like some like psycho like militia members don't try to bring back dueling with like AR-15s, like doing the traditional rules where you have to like take 10 steps, turn around, shoot or something. Like
yeah, whatever happened to people being polite when they were firing weapons at each other?
I know, right? We need to return. So
and I will put a point on that, like the dueling scenes. There's a few that are kind of blown through during the card playing era, but the dueling scenes are gorgeous. They are all next to some amazing tree that is on this bend in a river. The one against Lord Bullingdon at the end with all of the doves is like super drawn out.
It's like a John Woo movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, they all look incredible, and they're tense too. They're very tense.
Extremely, yeah. No, they're all really well done. Those are all nice sort of tent poles for the movie.
Mm-hmm. So with Barry's dad is dead, so we Barry narrator talks about Barry a little bit, and we see Barry. He's playing cards with his cousin Nora, who's played by Gay Hamilton, which is quite the name. Pardon? Killarney.
Yeah, that's what she yells.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
She yells Killarney That's how you win, I guess. I don't really know anything about the game, but she does yell Killarney.
Is that just the Irish word for go fish?
It might be. It might mean Yahtzee, or it might mean suck on it or something. I don't know. But she yells Killarney, which means she wins. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, she's, the dress she's wearing is like very booby. It's so full of cleavage, and he's so smitten by her, obviously. The narrator tells us this is his first love and the cause of all his first troubles, and she takes a ribbon from around her neck, tells him to turn around, and she's like, "I've hidden this ribbon somewhere on me. I want you to go find it." And like, this is the one point in the movie where Barry's completely a nervous wreck, and he doesn't really seem to know what to do, but he doesn't really seem to be able to navigate the situation too well, but she eventually she's clearly hidden her cleavage, and like she guides his hand towards her tit so that he could find the ribbon. And she has a great "Why are you trembling?" And he says, "At the pleasure of finding a ribbon."
I laughed at that too.
Yeah. And it's a nice way because this is the most boyish that Barry is, and you don't really see that anxiety of him until the very end of the movie.
Because he's like the Blob. Like his taste just grows and grows and grows. Like there's so many. How many times in the movie does he say like Barry resolved to never do that again or something? He doesn't ratchet backward in his expectations in life, and so at this point, the most desirable thing in the world, which to him is Bradytown, is his cousin with the boobs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's a man with simple interests, and his interests are his cousin's boobs.
Yeah. He's like an amoeba. Like he moves toward warmth.
Mm-hmm. And so we cut to there's a group of redcoats in military formation. They're all marching. The United Kingdom is prepping for a French invasion. We're told that the 7-Year War is inbound. Barry's liking the look of these soldiers and everything. The whole country's alive with enthusiasm and patriotism. And Barry's watching Nora dance with English Captain Quinn.
This is my favorite part of the movie.
Their dance is incredible. I posted a clip on a Blue Sky of watching. It's Barry watching Nora and Captain Quinn dance, and it's just he looks so miserable and cucked, and he's just it's just sometimes jig continues.
He's so pissed off.
Yeah,
and Captain Quinn is out there just walking back and forth, all cunty. and he's got this face on, and he crosses back and forth doing this point with his sword, and it's so funny. And then he's doing this jig dance, and he literally looks like a male bird displaying his plumage.
I was thinking of Arrested Development again, the chicken dances in that show. Like, it's just like the way they're kicking their legs and everything. It's just like not like, I don't think it's like, usually this kind of movies, like they have like, you know, you're doing like a dance with like very specific like dance patterns. This seems to be them just like kind of just like having fun, like being loose.
Yeah, and again, like it's the most amazing thing Barry has ever seen.
Yeah. So like
he's so impressed and intimidated by this display.
And like Quinn and Nora, they're walking in the woods, and like she's upset that like she danced with Quinn 5 times and not him, and she's like, "Oh, I can dance with you, Redmond, Barry, anytime I want, but like I can really dance with Captain Quinn." And she says like one thing that's so cutting. It's like, Captain Quinn is a man, but you, Redmond Barry, you're still just a boy.
She says also, he dances prettily, to be sure, and is a pleasant rattle of a man.
It's great. Like. And it's just like, it cuts to him, like he like storms off. Next to see him is like he's angrily just chopping some wood.
He's cutting it like shit. I love that.
Yeah.
I really liked, and before we get too far past it, I really liked the shot of the company sort of marching in formation and displaying themselves like for what you will say about their ability to fight when they're just walking forward while holding a gun and not firing it, which seems like a weird strategy. When they do what they're good at, which is like being martial and being impressive and peacocking around, it is awesome to watch.
Yeah, and like this movie has a ton of extras, so like it's like there's a lot of people
the ultimate special effect. Like the ultimate special effect. Just pack a frame with a couple hundred people, and I'm impressed.
Yeah, because like, can you like imagine like all like the corralling around you have to do for those extras to even get that to work? Like,
and you have to train them. Like, I wonder if you use reenactors or something.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, but like, it's a lot of people to work around, and like, it looks great.
It looks amazing. The frame is so big, and it's so big that you can actually see the colors and shapes of the different crofts in the distance and farms. So it looks like when you're like flying over sort of the, I guess this isn't true for a lot of parts of the country, but the western United States where everything is carved up like that, it gives you a really immense sense of immensity.
So like with that, because Kubrick, this movie took 300 days to shoot, which is a long stretch of time. Some days, like, you know, some people would thought, like, oh, we're only here for 1 day for something, but Kubrick didn't like how something looked, so he would just get everyone to come back the second day too. So you can see how the budget would bloom when you just have hey, we're getting all these extras back for a second day because I don't like how this formation looked when you're marching.
Yeah, I'm amazed with the patience that these people are willing to bring. I guess I'm amazed with Ryan O'Neal. Like, I don't know if he's just a guy who needs you to keep his hands busy or something, and that's where he thrives, is having a job like Barry Lyndon himself. But putting Ryan O'Neal in, you know, whatever, London for 300 days sounds like something that would require a special handler and insurance policy.
Ryan O'Neal said something like he was paid for a 14-day shoot, sorry, a 14-week shoot, and everything else was overtime, so he was happy about that.
Good for him.
Yeah,
that's a lot of money to spend on crack that he doesn't have to steal from his daughter now.
Yep. Yep. So, after he's chopping the wood, the narrator says, like, Barry has resolved not to see Nora again, but Barry will abandon that notion.
Immediately.
Yeah. And so we see, along like a lake there, Captain Quinn is kind of like seducing Nora, and Nora's being chaperoned by her brothers Mick and Ulick, who they want Nora to be seduced by Captain Quinn because he's higher stature, and you know they want to elevate themselves in their class too. Like they're kind of stuck where they are in their society.
These guys have a great vibe. I love their teeth. They look so British. They have like this like Eric Idle vibe going on.
And like then like Barry like talks to Nora by himself as everyone's watching, and returns the ribbon to Nora, and like I must have forgotten this somewhere, and Quinn sees that sorry, Quinn is annoyed that she clearly gave a ribbon to Barry, because that means that clearly that's an intimate thing that Nora does. And Nora has a great line. It's like, "Mainst I give a ribbon to my own cousin."
I think Quinn says, "As many yards as you please."
Yeah.
As he throws out his own ribbon. No, this is really similar. Anyone who's dated, you're trying to tell your girlfriend what to do while playing a Way Out or any of these co-op video games, and she's like, "How do you know this?" And then you have to explain that yes, you have played this with another woman, and that's a hard conversation to have, and Nora has to have it here with Captain Quinn.
It's like, how are you so good at Halo 2 co-op? Like,
we played this together before, and she's like, "No, we didn't." And you're like, "Oh, fuck me."
Yeah. I should have forgotten. I know where to find all the skulls on the map.
I've never played this. I have no idea.
You're just like, I don't know how to use the camera in a third-person shooter. Like, really dumb.
But you're also seeing here that Jack Quinn is really scared of Barry. Like, he sees in him the same thing that Jack Grogan sees in him when he says later, where he's like, "I've never met a boy more game in me life." Mm-hmm. And Jack Quinn sees that right away. For as good as Jack Quinn is at dancing a jig, the soldiering of it all, he sees that Barry Lyndon is a very dangerous person. I'm sorry, Redmond Barry.
Yeah. When he leaves, he's like, it's not the English way to have two lovers, so it's also just maybe he does not want to be involved with a scandal or something too. But Nora's brother reveals that she's trying to hook up with Quinn because he makes $1,500 a year, and apparently Nora's father is $4,000 in debt. So it's mercenary. She was getting she's trying to improve their family stature, but also trying to pay off this debt because saddled with the sins of the father kind of thing. Maybe.
Well, and I think that Quinn also sees himself slumming it to be in Ireland at all,
mm-hmm. let
alone marrying an Irish person.
Yeah, and there's an engagement dinner. This scene, every scene in this movie is incredible, but this scene's awesome. Where everyone's kind of happy. But then Barry, during who wants to give a toast? And Barry, stands up and, takes a wine glass and throws the full wine glass, the glass itself throws out of his hand, at Captain Quinn's face. So, there's, broken glass, wine in his face, and Quinn's face...
He hits him right in the forehead with it. It looks like it hurt.
Yeah, it must have been a real thing or something, because, I was expecting to just, throw the liquid in his face, but no, it's the full thing.
Yeah.
And he's upset that and so at this point Barry demands a duel with Captain Quinn, and Captain Grogan, we mentioned him before, he tries to talk him.
Jack Grogan.
Yeah, he tries to talk Barry down, offers him some money, and telling Barry you'll find other lasses to be with, go to Dublin, here's some here's 10 guineas, go have some fun. He's like, as soon as I go to Dublin as to go to hell. And
I love that. I'm not sorry, and I'll not apologize. He does this long pause before it too, where it's this moment that happens a couple times in the movie where someone's like, "We can just make this all go away," and he thinks about it, and he goes, "No." That's who he is. Yeah, he's never been a boy more game in me life.
Yeah,
just need me boy.
Yeah. Also, notice how neither of us are doing Irish accents for when we're talking about Barry Lyndon, because it's because Ryan O'Neal isn't really doing one either. He's very inconsistent with his accent in this movie.
He tries a few times, and maybe is it a towel of your wife's washing is something where he kind of puts on a voice, but no, he's just playing it by ear. And
so at this duel, Quinn looks really hesitant during it, but Barry looks so determined. And this, of course, it's a very tense scene, and Grogan's his second for this duel, so he's the one that packs the bullet for him and everything. And they both fire. Quinn gets knocked down. Barry thinks, and they check his pulse and everything. Is Barry asks, is he dead? They say, quite dead. And Nora's brothers like tell Barry to get the fuck out of here before the cops come up. And says, like, they're all pissed off, like, oh, you just robbed the family like $1,500 a year. And so he's just, on the run, like leave his life away. Like, he doesn't tell his mother where he's gone, his own Nora where he's gone. And Barry, and like, again, the duel is a very, very tense scene. It's really well done. And Barry's like on the run with whatever little bit of money he has. He's has a horse too, and he's stopped by a highwayman who's blocked the path at gunpoint. And I love this robber so much. He is such a good
he's awesome. He's awesome. Well, yeah, like, Barry's leaving home. They say, like, I think the narrator says, like, any boy who's got 20 guineas in his pocket and is leaving home is in good spirits, or something like that. But it's so funny because he just doesn't give a shit about Nora at all. He doesn't mention her again, ever thinks about her again. She is out of his sight and out of his orbit, and he is moving on to something more advantageous and warm. And, like, he's got money in his pocket, and he's feeling all romantic, and then he runs into, Captain Feeney, who teaches him an important lesson about the world.
Yeah, what's great about this movie too is I feel like every character in this movie could be like a Red Dead Redemption 2 character. Captain Feeney especially. It's like the way he just like talks Absolutely. About him, like, oh, like, I've heard your sob story before about being your last pennies, but like, I'll let you keep your shoes. Like, can you keep my horse? Like, no, we gotta like be able to like outrun our clients.
Yeah, in our line of business, yeah. Mm-hmm. I like when he says, "Your story is the most touching I've heard in many weeks."
Yeah. It's not like, like,
he introduces him to his son. He's like, "This is my son Seamus," and the kid's like, "Hey," he's pointing a gun at him.
And like, yeah, then they're told like, "Hey, there's a town 5 miles that way. Just start walking." And yeah, you never see these people again. Like, and I kind of thought when I first time I watched, like, oh, like, will these characters come back at all? And they don't. Like, you don't see Captain Quinn again. Like, you don't see like any Nora again. Like, you still like everyone's kind of just like, other than Grogan, like, once the Grogan and the mother, once like the past is gone, like they move on.
Yeah, these are rungs in a ladder, and Barry does not return to them.
And so, like, in the town there's a army recruiters listening for the army, and he ends up enlisting because like that's the only thing he can really do at this point in time because he's on the run.
Well, and again, he's just standing there like, this guy's in town shouting about joining the army, and Barry is just impressed. He's just like, this is the most put together guy around here. Like, I'm going to gravitate toward this.
Barry would be the kind of guy who goes like a New York Jets games. He's a flyover. Like, I'm going to join the Air Force. Like, he's the kind of guy, like, he would just, like, watch, like, I don't know, see, like, a Wendy's ad on TV. He's like, I'm going to Uber Eats this right now and tonight. Like, he's just, like, very susceptible to whatever people talk about around him. And so he's in the army, and, like, he has, like, all his, like, the red coat on and everything. It's all fancy up, but he clearly does not fit in. Like, great scene here where he asks, they have like their cups of gruel or tea or whatever they're drinking, like beer or something. He asks for a new cup because his is full of grease, and everyone just like laughs their ass off at him. And like there's one like big guy who's like really mocking him, and there's a small guy beside him like, hey, like you should fuck this guy a little bit, like, hey, like you should insult this guy, insult this guy's girl, like, insult the way he smells, like insult everything about him.
Is it a towel of your wife's washing? They say she wipes your face often with one. Yeah. I was thinking about throwing that out in like a road rage incident. Just like point at like a chamois in the guy's truck and be like, "Is that a towel of your wife's washing?" And he's like, "What the fuck?"
It probably diffuse the situation.
I kind of think it would, yeah.
Unless they're a movie buff and they're like, "Wait a minute, I've seen Barry Lyndon."
You afraid she'll box your ears?
So like, because Barry was encouraged by a guy just to like insult another person, now they're gonna do a fist fight, and it's kind of cool because like they all like create a formation like in like a box, like everyone's like creates a little like mini arena around them, and apparently Ryan O'Neal was an amateur boxer back in the day, like back in the 50s. So like he actually knew how to box.
Yeah, he definitely exhibits some chronic traumatic encephalopathy symptoms for sure.
Yeah.
This scene reminds me a lot of the Rass scene from Paper Moons, where he sort of gets himself into a situation, and you're like, "What are you doing, running your mouth?" And then he just backs it up, like he just beats the hell out of everyone, and it's not a problem anymore. And in both movies, it's a really effective scene.
Did you recognize this actor who Barry's fighting?
I did not.
He's Pat Roche. He's also the Nazi mechanic that Indy fights in Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Wow, yeah, he fully shaved himself for Raiders, but yeah, it's a similar size.
Yeah. And it's funny because like Barry seems to be relatively equal size to this guy compared to like Indy when he fights the guy, where Indy seems so small.
No, Barry looks. I mean, he looks
tiny, but it's like as small as Harrison Ford fighting the guy.
Yeah, and he looks solid, and he hits him with the same move I think like 3 times in a row, where he jabs him in the ribs and then hits him with the jab in the face. Yeah. Like he just sets him up for it 3 times.
And like it's funny because like even with the side of like Barry does win the fight, which doesn't seem too realistic. Also, like the entire time Barry has like a very long ponytail the whole movie.
Yeah, there's an interesting sort of combination Jedi braid, rat tail, dreadlock situation that seems to be common in the service.
It looks like he's going to take that tail and plug it into a Navi in Avatar or something. Like, it's that long. Like, he's going to use it to fly like a banshee into battle or something.
That's my tree fucking braid, brother.
It's how I connect with Awa.
You want to see me?
I see you. Oh, God. So, but after winning the fight, Barry gets all the praise from his fellow troops. So he seems to actually fit in at this point in time. And he's doing the military training. The narrator tells us like he's like really, he likes being part of this unit, being part of like all the regalia and everything. And he runs into Captain Grogan again, who he was second in the duel and everything. He's one that told like tried to pay Barry to not do this duel to begin with. And Grogan and Barry have a nice candlelight conversation. And we gotta get into the candlelight scenes. Like, so Kubrick made a pretty big point to like he wanted naturalistic lighting because he thought like all these period dramas looked very artificial with all the electric lighting. So it's very hard to light a big scene with just candles. So they had to like use like triple wick candles that allow for brighter flame. They burned out very quick, so you had to like do a lot of takes for it. And the lens that they used for this film was like a very took photos fast, and it was kind of lens that NASA was using for like lunar photography to take photos of the moon and on the moon kind of thing.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, connections to NASA.
Yeah, so like when Kubrick faked the moon landing, it's probably the same lens.
Yeah. I wonder where he got it.
Yeah. but these scenes look incredible, and like also apparently like background actors were told not to do any big movements because it would fuck up the focus for the cameras. Because of how like
that's
sensitive
interesting
it was.
Because I was going to comment on that. I really thought it was cool how painterly it looked when there's often like 1 to 3 people moving meaningfully in a scene, and the rest of the people do move, but they're fairly still and they hold sort of what they're doing, and it gives you one of those sort of back to Arrested Development, the living painting effect that if you keep a couple people still, it makes it seem like a kind of still image. Yeah, like all the shots are absolutely gorgeous, and like I feel like he really reuses it in Eyes Wide Shut, except that is lit by very very electric light.
But like like this kind of looks like all these scenes with candlelight are just so impressive because it's just like they do look like paintings, and like he uses electric lighting for other parts of the movie too, like especially the final duel. Like there's clearly electric lights like booming into the barn at the end there, but over these candlelight scenes, like he made a point like there's no electric lighting for these parts at all, and it just adds an extra bit of texture to it. It looks so it just looks so beautiful. Like, this movie's absolutely gorgeous. If you haven't watched the movie or listened to this episode, maybe it's you, Dad, who's watching this. I think my dad's seen this movie. Maybe he hasn't. Yeah, but Dad, if you have not seen this movie, just go watch the movie. and look at how beautiful it is.
Brian's dad, just do whatever you want. I'm not judging you. I'm not telling you what to do.
My dad was saying, he's like, hasn't listened to every episode of the podcast yet, but like the latest one that popped up on Spotify was the Digimon the movie episode. And
maybe skip that one, Pops.
Have you seen that? Have you seen that movie before?
Yes, it would have been pre 9/11.
Yeah, it's the most incomprehensible movie ever made. It's like 3 short films like blended into one with bad narration. And like my dad was like, I was so confused by it. I'm like, I was confused by it too. Listen to a normal episode.
I would assume it's just like unreleased episodes of the cartoon.
It's actually 3 short films from the OVAs in Japan. It's like 3 short movies they did. One was like a prequel to the cartoon, one was like a season finale of the cartoon, the other was like a season 2 finale. They just jammed together.
We'll just put this in theaters. Great. It's like, it's sort of a Stranger Things approach.
Yeah. Yeah, except...
Well, to Brian's dad and to anyone else who hasn't seen this movie, I guess the big thing that I want to get across is that it is so much less difficult than it appears.
Exactly, really, yes.
It really seems academic. It really seems like it's like Downton Abbey type shit, and it really is not. It is like a comedy of manners. The beauty is a great thing to be a backdrop and to carry you through the movie, but it watches more like an action-y, comedy-y kind of film to me than something that's like a historical epic.
And a lot is just because the main character is just so fascinating. He's just the way he moves through the world is just so bizarre. And like, especially because the context of this conversation over the candlelight dinner, or it's not candlelight, it's not like him and Grogan, but it's like, you know, share spaghetti like Lady and the Tramp or something. It's like
there's something funnily romantic between them. Like they're definitely doing something with it. Like the kiss me boy stuff, and like Grogan being so impressed by him. Like I'm not saying that there's like a gay subplot, but there is a romance between Grogan and Barry.
Well, I think with Barry in general is like he's just desperate for a father figure of some kind. Like, you know, between Grogan, between like even like like
Captain Feeney.
It's just like everyone is just kind of just like he's kind of like looks up to them and like moves on past them pretty fast. And then it gets really funny once he actually gets his own like child figures to be a father to, and just is not as great with it. But at this point, Grogan wants Barry's like, hey Barry, like your mom has no idea where you are, so like send her a letter to say that you are, you know, you're doing well. But Barry's completely ashamed that he lost all the money because he got robbed on the highway there. And Grogan reveals that Captain John Quinn is still alive, and he actually married Nora. And so the Norris brothers, they rigged the duel.
And the Grogan took money. He got money for bamboozling Barry.
Yeah. Yeah. So they rigged the duel. They put like I don't know, like tow in the, I'm not sure what that exactly that is, but like fabric and stuff into the gun, so like it wouldn't actually kill Quinn when he got shot. So they rigged the duel, and to make sure that the Bradys would keep getting paid, and that they would get rid of Barry for good because Barry's just annoying. And
it's great during the duel where they're like in the background, like clearly goofing around with the guns, like it's really obvious, and then they give him the gun and he's like, this isn't my pistol, and they're like, it's fine.
Yeah. It's so funny.
And then after that, they're like, he's like, is he dead? And they touches his neck for like 1 second, and he's like, he's so dead.
Yeah, so dead, bro. Don't even come over here.
He died right away. You shot him and he died immediately, dude.
And so, like, he's, of course, Barry's pretty upset by his gut dude, but moves on to the English are fighting a little small skirmish against the French, and so, like, we talked about, like, how these battle scenes before, where the English just march in a line, and the French are just shooting at them, so, like, as, like, Englishmen fall, like, more Englishmen, like, rush forward to, like, keep on marching forward, and it's such a silly way to do battle in war, like, it's, like... It's just like, I don't know, like, trench warfare makes more sense than this.
Well, yeah, and that's what we're building toward, is this, like, realization that, you know, it's this going for more war is kind of like a more violent version of playing your neighboring state in rugby or whatever, to, you know, some people die, but it sort of resolves the conflict, and they kind of retreat before it's that big of an issue, and they're pretty kind with their prisoners to, the World War I situation where they are walking into a human meat grinder. and it makes this whole practice so silly.
Yeah.
And you see the beginnings of that here. I mean, they're showing you, like, how ineffective this strategy is.
Because, like, Grogan gets shot, and so Barry breaks the line, and, like, instead of, like, filling in the spot that he was in, he carries Grogan to, like, the tree line to, like, help him out. Like, as he's doing that, like, we don't, like, I think we still hear the music quietly in the background. You hear Englishmen crying out in pain and dying. And you see a couple of dead guys, like, in the woods, too, where he is. So it is kind of like the pomp and circumstance, that's kind of gone away in the reality. Yeah, people are dying for a pointless reason. And so, like, Barry leans Grogan against a tree. Grogan gives him his, like, remaining 100 guineas and says, "Kiss me, my boy, for we will never meet again." And they kiss. It's nice.
It's the first one that when he says "kiss me, my boy," be the first time he kisses him on the cheek, and then the second time it's a huge on the lips smooch right as he dies, and it's really sweet. Yeah. Another thing I want to call out here is actually what happens with the money. Captain Grogan tells Barry during the candlelit conversation we talked about that for as long as you live, you will never want for or for as long as the guineas last, you may draw upon me. Mm-hmm. So he's saying, like, look, I got this money for fucking you over. I like you. I'm sorry. And then literally the next day, Grogan, as he's dying, says, "I lost all the money in cards last night." Yeah. So he promises him the guineas that he got for fucking him over, and then he blows them at the gambling table that night and dies the next day. And it's really showing you the inadequacy of Barry's father figures.
Mm-hmm. And, like, Barry, that's what Barry does too. Like, he gets hooked on the cards and gambling as well after this. Like he's just like, yeah, it's just like there's nothing stable for him really at all.
Yeah, it's the example set for him. I mean, like, his real mentors so far have been, like, Grogan and Feeney, and to a certain degree, both of them robbed him blind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's like, Barry's actually pretty upset about his death, and he looks upset too. And so, like, 1 second here, with my notes. So another point in time, Barry's, like, carrying some water in some buckets, and he hears a couple of men, like, kind of joshing around. He looks into the river, and there's, like, two naked soldiers. They are, clearly gay. They are holding each other's hands, like, talking to each other about, like, and one of them was, like, talking about, like, how he's going to be gone for a while. And turns out one of them was a messenger, and he's supposed to be delivering some papers to that Prince Henry of Prussia. And this part's great. Like, Ryan O'Neal as Barry, he's just looking around, making sure no one else is hearing this conversation too. And, like, it's like, takes a long time to decide what he's going to do, and then the narrator confirms, like, oh yeah, Barry's going to steal the uniform and the message and then go behind enemy lines. And you can imagine Ryan O'Neal thinking, I'm doing the narration for this, and him, like, talking about some self-doubt or something. It's just that the narrator's like, yeah, you're just going to do it. But Barry looks so stupid.
I love that the guys are, like, mad at each other for, like, having to leave. And they're, like, soldiers. It's like they're in different companies or whatever. Yeah. And he's like, you promised you never have to go again. He's like, you silly ass.
Yeah, what a dumb promise to make. And so Barry just, like, steals the uniform, steals the message, steals the horse, and he's like, yeah, I'm deserting the army, baby.
Yeah, I'm out of here.
And so Barry's now...
Like, again, like, he has, from what you're seeing, has been really successful as a British soldier. He's acquitted himself really well, and he has, like, relationships. He's impressed the men, and the second he sees an opportunity that is more advantageous than what he sees as immediate future, he takes it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because, like, he's kind of scared because he did see a lot of his countrymen die around him. He saw, like, Grogan die too. Like, because he's going right into the enemy territory, right? He's, like, not fleeing the war per se. He's just trying to get the fuck wherever he can go at this point in time. He's just going towards the path.
He found an officer's uniform, and that makes him more powerful than he is without it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he's now in Prussian territory away from all his countrymen, and he's heading to Bremen. And on the way there, he meets a German peasant named Frau Lieschen. And they begin to have a little bit of an affair. And it's not that remarkable of a sequence there, but she has her own kid and everything. And the narrator has one great line about how a woman who sets her heart upon a lad in a uniform must be prepared to change lovers quickly. Because these stories are so common in all these towns that are being taken over and lost many times in war. So she's clearly lonely, going for whoever she can, find, and just has Barry coming on through.
I thought it was interesting that there's, I think, a line before that where the narrator says, at this point, Barry was, without any romantic ideals about the world, which you very much see him have when, he is touching Cousin Titty. When he is, riding out of town with his head held high, and he's got his pocket full of guineas. He has romantic ideals at that time, and then his experiences with Captain Feeney and with the military so far show him that stuff's not real. And so he puts it on for this woman. He sees what this woman wants and what she needs, and he pretends that it's some great romantic story. When he's hungry and he, wants to get it in.
Yeah. But it isn't the grand goodbye is basically, I got to keep doing my fake mission.
And for it being fake, his name at this point is Lieutenant Fakingham.
Is it actually Fakingham? Oh yeah, it is.
His name is Fakingham. They that's the identity he stole. And then there's this great scene where the German woman is like, "What was your name before Fakingham?" And he's like, for a second, was like, "Oh, she knows." And then he's like, "Wait, oh, mein Vornamen."
Yeah.
John.
Yeah. So he moves on to the next town. There's an interesting part where the narrator he's passing through a bunch of new recruits and mentioned 6 years into the war they're depleting what is a capable recruit, so now they're actually recruiting the criminals and scoundrels to fight the armies. No matter where he would have ended up in life, he would have been recruited for war at some point. It seems that's just the nature of war. And on the road, Barry meets the Prussian captain Pottsdorf, and Pottsdorf is like, "Hey, who are you?" She's like, "Oh, I'm a messenger. I'm delivering a message to the prince or whatever." And is like, this guy's a little suspicious of Barry. He's like, "Oh, well, you're going the wrong direction completely, but we're going the right way, so come follow me." So now there's another nice candlelit dinner they're having with more people. And at this point, Pottsdorf completely determines that Barry's a liar because Barry's like, the general you say you're serving under is long dead. You got the name of this wrong. You got the name of this town wrong. You're clearly...
You say your uncle is the British ambassador to Berlin with the ridiculous name of O'Grady.
Yeah.
He says O'Grady with such disdain.
Yeah. So he's like, you're either going to be arrested or you got to join the Prussian army. And so Barry's now in the Prussian service, and the first thing we see in the service area is how it's clearly a lot worse military service to serve in the English one. He's going through the gauntlet, which basically is a line where guys are just whipping you in the back as punishment. And you see all the scratch marks on Barry's back. It looks like it hurts.
Yeah, and you wonder, risk of infection at that time.
Exactly.
That's serious.
They probably kill more people than the actual opposing armies did.
Yeah. The gauntlet is the biggest loss.
And we get into a battle here, and this scene's absolutely gorgeous. I love the shot, the deep focus shots of going up the inside interior fort window to the outside army there. He's
doing paths of glory stuff here. It looks really good.
It looks so good, and just the way the guns work down, we had to took so long to reload, so you're basically being passing guns back and forth to reload them throughout the windows and such. And during this battle, the fort's kind of being overrun a bit, and a pillar falls down on Pottsdorf, and Barry does the exact same thing he did with Grogan there, where he just picks him up and carries him right out of there. And for doing the same thing again, he receives commendation for his acts of heroism in the battle, because he may have abandoned his post a little bit, but he saved his commanding officer.
I love what the guy says. He's then giving him the money to Frederick Dorr, which he gets. They just hand him 2 coins of money, which I think is funny, to do as a medal.
Yeah.
And he says, "You've done a great deal of harm to the men, and for all of your talents and bravery, I'm sure you will come to no good."
Yeah.
Which is true.
But it's got some favor with Pottsdorf there. So the war's over, and Pottsdorf gives Barry a meeting with his uncle, and his uncle's like head of the police bureau there. So like he's taken out of the military, put in the police bureau, and now Barry's a spy.
Which, to a guy who you're repeatedly telling, like, I don't trust you at all, like, you're a swarthy piece of shit, like, you clearly are talented, but I can't trust you as far as I can throw you. The first chance they get, they embed him as an agent.
Yeah, because he's tasked with surveilling a gambler named Chevalier de Balabari, and he's suspected of being a spy himself. This guy's from Ireland. He speaks English. Like, well, Barry's Irish. He speaks English, so let's send him on a mission. Barry's like, yeah, sure, I'll go do it. And like, he's in his like little character. He's given his full fake backstory. Like, you're Hungarian. You gotta speak Hungarian to this guy. And like, here's all the stuff you're supposed to do. And he's supposed to feed all his information back to what he's doing. We meet Chevalier de Balabari, and this guy looks like, I thought it was John Cleese at first. And
it sort of has a Mr. Mime thing going on.
Yeah, he's like all powdered white and has like some rouge on too. Looks like a clown. He looks sick. He looks very ill.
He has an eye patch.
The eye patch. Yeah, and Barry, like the narrator's like, yeah, Barry realizes right away it's impossible to keep a disguise in front of this guy, and like that was a pretty quick defection. And Barry's like, yeah, no, I'm an Irishman named Redmond Barry. I was inducted by the Prussian army. I was forced to spy on them. So now Barry's like a double agent for this guy.
Well, in all earnest, I mean, like his current mentor, Captain Pottsdorf, literally has him as like a hostage, and which is slightly better than he's been treated by the previous guys who just took his money. Captain Pottsdorf does treat him with respect. There's an interesting line Barry has too during the commendation scene where he says, like, I've never had a kind man before to like show me the way, a kind hand. Like he's actually calling out for a father figure.
Yeah, he's right. Like, because he's never really like, we don't know what the relationship he had with his father was. Like, we see his relationship with his mother a bit, but like she seems pretty rigid when it comes to the roles of what family is, so she probably would not step in to fill like the paternal role for him. And
her acceptance of wild Irish ways, as she calls it, like it sounds like he was probably a lot like Barry is.
So like at this point, like Barry is like he's reporting back to the bureau his findings, but they're all prearranged by the Chevalier beforehand, like just giving minor details back and forth about how this guy is like they think Chevalier is a spy for the English, and so like, but meanwhile, like Barry is helping Chevalier cheat at cards because he's supposed to be kind of his manservant.
I love watching people cheat at cards.
It's so cool in this movie because
it's always so cool to watch.
It's so subtle what he's doing here, where it's like basically like he's standing behind them, sees what the opponent's hands are, and when he's serving them the wine, the way he like kind of wipes the table is so like supposed to indicate exactly what the opponent has. It's like a really clever way to subtle way to do it, because like you gotta trust your manservant, right? Like they would not be involved with such a thing like cheating. This prince believes.
Yeah, he proves himself useful to the Chevalier, which the Chevalier enjoys having an Irish guy around, but also Barry is making him a lot of money.
And so like it's a card game against the prince, and the prince like refuses to pay up all the money he's lost and accuses both of them of cheating. He doesn't have to prove it, but he still accuses them of it, which they did cheat. And so the Chevalier threatens a duel, but to avoid scandal, it's determined that like the Chevalier is going to, and the prince like gets the Chevalier to like force him to leave the country. And I love this part so much, where Barry's dressed up as Chevalier, and like he has the ghoulish white like powder on, a fake mustache, the fake mole, the eye patch.
Well, and then the Austrian like military boffs it so bad by sending these like ding-dongs who don't know who the Chevalier is, what he looks like other than his description, and they like can't even open the carriage door.
Yeah.
There's like a part where the guy's like fiddling with the handle on it. He can't even get it open for him.
Yeah. And like, so they think Barry is the Chevalier, so he's able to get escorted out of the country. And the narrator says that so without papers or passport, Barry was escorted across the frontier to freedom. And also it's confirmed that the Chevalier already left the night before. So like both of them are able to escape. So Barry's now a free man. And now him and the Chevalier have a bit of a scam going on where the two men are just cheating their way across Europe, cheating at various card games. And I was like, the narrator's great line. Barry will now become a gentleman for this day forward, which is like something he already swore off doing before earlier in the movie. Like Barry keeps changing his mind.
Yeah. Exactly.
The narrator's so funny. The scam is like they always gamble on credit, so they're not using their own money. And if people don't pay up at the end of the wager, they would challenge him to a duel, and Barry would just face him in a sword duel.
Yeah, there's this very consistent theme of like might versus right. Might makes right sort of thing going on in this society where everybody does act like all polite around each other all the time, and they carry out their conflicts with the mercenaries like Barry was embedded with earlier in the film. Mm-hmm. And Barry realizes this one weird trick. Yeah. you can demand satisfaction in basically any situation.
Yeah.
And it's like being a sovereign citizen, but it works.
Yeah. Yeah, like you can't really do that too much in society. Like you can't go to an ICE officer like, hey, I demand satisfaction, because they'll just shoot you dead.
Yeah. You just say, catch me outside to any police officer, and they actually can't do anything against that except fight you.
But because like their way of life is nomadic, they don't have a home. They're going like town to town, country to country, just gambling. They're not really settling in one place. So eventually they decide like he's going to want to like settle down a little bit. So he sets his sights on a Lady Lyndon. Here's where we're finally getting, for the first time in this movie, after like this amount of time, Marissa Berenson coming to the movie. And she is the wife of Charles Lyndon, who's a minister. He has like gout and a myriad of diseases, they say. They also have
an awesome old-timey wheelchair.
Yeah, it looks more like a wheelbarrow.
Yeah.
And they also these two also have a son who the narrator describes as melancholic. His son, Bullingdon, who is really attached to his mother. And Barry is able to seduce Lady Lyndon. The narrator says within 6 hours she was totally in love with him. And
okay, she comes over to play cards and then goes out to the patio. Mm-hmm. He's just like looking at the moon.
Mm-hmm.
And he sneaks up on her like a panther. Like, it is like prey. I swear it's like on purpose. He sneaks up behind her and then touches her, and she like turns around and like they embrace. Like, that is the entire courtship. This is him like stalking her.
Yeah. And like the narrator has been like 100% accurate describing the situation in the entire movie. Him saying that she, within 6 hours after they met, she was in love with him. That's true. It's not just Barry imagining it. Like, she is smitten by this guy. And
yeah, she's looking for really anything to take her away, and as Barry has shown us, as he did with the German woman, is that he can pretend to be romantic really well.
Mm-hmm. And there's another, is a lot of candles. The next scene too, where Sir Charles is now accusing Barry of having an affair with his wife.
This rules.
And Barry says like, no, your wife. I'm consulting your wife on a religious matter that you cannot. And just basically like, yeah, I'm fucking her. Yeah, that's fine. And Charles goes on like, how he'd rather be a cuckold than a fool. Like, he wants the full, honest truth. He goes on about like he knows his wife's already thinking about replacing him, as he's not the first one. And Charles is like, he's not going anywhere. The doctor said I don't have much time many times beforehand. And Barry's like, oh, let those laugh who win. And Barry walks away, like completely suave, and Charles is just so pissed off at Barry Lyndon, he has a heart attack and dies.
It's so good, and this is another one of those things that I'm talking about, where it's like that like Safdie version of unpredictability, where you feel like you're settling into this stage and this scene and this era where Barry is sort of supplanting this guy, and he's like the young rival, mm-hmm. and it happens basically right away.
Yeah, it's within a minute.
The guy just dies. He gets so pissed off that he dies right away.
And he pretty much just saying, like, I'm going to live forever. Like, you're not going to upstage me. Yeah. Like, it happens instantly. And the narrator says, Charles leaves behind a name that's dear to all his friends. And as he's saying it, the narrator's voice just kind of starts fading out, because the Lyndon name is no longer Charles. It's going to be Barry's now. And we get to our intermission, and it's a movie about, at this point in the movie, Barry cucks a man so hard he dies, and Barry steals his name as well. Like, what a legend.
Yeah, it's its male rivals in the jungle with this sheen of white powder and candles.
Yeah. And so, like, part 2 is called Containing an Account of the Misfortunes and Disaster Which Befell Barry Lyndon. So, Barry now is married to Lady Lyndon, takes her name. They settle in England. The marriage is not happy, despite them having her being really into him early on. She's not really into this point.
Because I think Barry seems really happy.
Yeah. Yeah, because, like, he's just, like, not really taking it seriously at all. Like, he's now in an elevated class, and he's where he never thought he was going to be before. He's now a gentleman in society. But we have a part where, they're, like, in a carriage, and she asks him not to smoke, and Barry is just, like, starts blowing the smoke in her face because he thinks he's being really charming with it, but she's clearly very irritated.
It's so funny.
And it's such great body language from the both of them, where, like, she is just so miserable. She's wearing, like, a fox or mink around her neck, too. Like, it's
this is actually a good time to mention this shot is used really well in what I think is the sort of definitive Barry Lyndon co-programming, which is the 21 Savage Barry Lyndon edit that went viral years ago. And if you haven't seen it,
look it up.
Right, like, you do not need to see Barry Lyndon or know who 21 Savage is. It is hilarious.
Yeah.
And it is this edit of this 21 Savage song queued up to clips of Barry Lyndon doing various, mostly, second act marital misdeeds. Yeah. And it's really entertaining. Yeah. That'll actually be my plug at the end.
Yeah. Right. So, yeah, she's now occupying a part in Barry's life that's no different than a portrait. Like, she is just basically just something part of the background. Like, and Bullingdon, he's not very happy that his mother married Barry with such haste. Like, he's correctly identifies Barry as an opportunist and is not happy with his new stepdad at all. And Barry and his wife now have a baby, Brian Patrick Lyndon. And at this point,
let's take a moment. Let's take a moment for Brian Patrick Lyndon. This guy, to me, is the superstar of the film. He is awesome. Mm-hmm. This kid is so funny. Yeah. He's like if you put Problem Child in the movie. He has like a stupid little like AC/DC haircut, and he walks around with this like smug look on his face all the time. He is so funny. Yeah.
It's so good later, that scene later on where like him and Bullington are like in class together. They're doing the studies, and he's like, "What does strenuous mean, brother? What does quadrilateral mean, brother?" And I was like, "Shut the fuck up! I'm trying to read."
He's like, he just can't even like spend any time internally. Can't look at the page. I'm sure he inherited crippling dyslexia from his father.
Yeah,
and all he can do is just bother Lord Bullington.
Yeah. Yeah.
But this is the scene where I don't know if it's going to be ahead. They have the birthday party for Brian where they introduce the actor, the non-baby version of the actor, and they have a fucking magic show at his birthday.
Yeah. So there's a time jump. So like now it's been about 8 years. So Bullington's a new actor and Brian's a new actor. Cool thing with the new Bullington actor, Leon Vitale. So like he was a working actor at this point in time, but after this movie, he became he's like, I understand Stanley Kubrick's vision, and basically became his personal assistant for the rest of his career.
Yeah, he worked a lot on Eyes Wide Shut and the other projects. Yeah, it's a really interesting story, and he's excellent. I mean, he's really excellent.
He's a good actor, yeah, and like the fact that he's just like, I want to dedicate my career not towards the craft of acting, but I want to make sure Stanley's movies become as good as they can be, which is like a fascinating career path. You don't really hear about that anymore. Like, you find Timothy Chalamet gave up acting to like help the Safdies out or something.
Yeah. No, I honestly don't know if I've ever heard of another version, or at least not a more prominent one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but so like now that they're older, and now it's Brian's birthday, so it's like a birthday party, and
I don't know if they did magic shows at birthday parties at the time, but this is also really driving the Problem Child effect that I'm talking about. Yeah. It seems so like 90s. Like the bowl cuts and the fucking magician and the misbehaving child going on. Mm-hmm. It's very 1990 to me.
Yeah. And like Bullington as an observant young kid beforehand, he saw him and his mom saw Barry making out with another woman, so like they know that Barry's not faithful. But another big thing with all this point in time too is that like
he's just honking boobs and making out.
We see him just like making out like two chicks at the same time, like like Barry is not subtle at all. So Barry's mom has now moved in with him too, and so like she's like pointing out that Bullingdon will absolutely inherit everything once his mother passes away. That Brian Lyndon will be at the mercy of his stepbrother for money and finance at that point in time.
I like Brian in the carriage getting drawn by the sheep at his birthday, and he's got the streamers in either hand, and he's just taking them up and down.
Yeah, it's like that must be complicated to film, right? Because like there's like so many people around there, and like how do you get sheep just to carry people around? Like it's crazy.
I don't know. It comes back. We'll talk about it.
And like so, Barry's kind of realizing he's kind of fucked up by being so like cruel to Bullingdon at this point. Like Barry and his mom kind of realize get a title. Barry needs to get a title to like keep his wealth. And to do this, he's going to have to start building relationships with high society. And I've also spending even more of Lady Lyndon's money because none of the money's Barry's. So like even the extravagant birthday party, that's a waste of wealth. But Barry also clearly loves this kid too. Like he likes his son Brian a lot. He hates his son, his stepson Bullingdon. Has no respect for him at all. But there's nice scenes where Barry's telling bedtime stories to Brian, and
yeah, really nice scene.
Yeah, and it's like
rampaging he devils who cut guys' heads off.
And he's like, oh, and then like like I was like cutting off so many heads and like offering them to the king, and like, did you get to keep any of the heads, Papa? And he's like, no, the heads belong to the king. And it's just like completely lying about his war stories entirely. But like it's the one time where Barry's like obvious brazen lying is rewarded. Because like his son is really impressed by him, and I think that's why
this is Barry's idea of like what he wanted a father to do for him.
Yeah, and you can imagine that like
he cut guys' heads off,
and you can imagine like maybe like if spoiler, Brian is not long for this world, but if like Brian were to turn like 12 years old, like Barry would be a shitty father to him. But like if Barry, as of now, with a kid who he can kind of like create a mythical picture of himself as a father, as like a legendary war hero kind of thing, his son will respect him. But like the second that facade fades, probably that relationship is going to sour completely, like every other relationship Barry has in his life.
Yeah, he has a real Joffrey Baratheon sort of arc ahead of him.
Yeah, it's almost like I think honestly like the way that Barry kind of interacts with his son is almost like a Tomlin Baratheon in the books, where Tomlin's like a little like 3-year-old kind of thing, like he's like 5-year-old kid is like very young. Like kind of just like
kittens.
Yeah, likes his kittens a lot, like Sir Pounce.
Sir Pounce.
Yeah. And yeah, just like you have the shitty older son, the son that you kind of love a little bit more, but like you have to love. I guess Barry doesn't love both the kids, but like in like Lady Lyndon, she likes both. She likes both of her kids, but like she's just so distant because the marriage is just so. It's so like secondary. Like her, she feels so trapped in the movie, and like Marissa Berenson, like she's in this movie like a lot, but she's hardly any dialogue at all. It's all in her reactions, and it's just sad.
There's that really bummer scene where she tries to like recreate the fun of playing cards with Barry, with her ladies in waiting or whatever, and they're having this like super just shitty time playing cards, all looking like wan and bored. You really see that she has found herself in a place where there's no happy way forward.
And that's the scene immediately after you see Barry making up like 2 naked girls at the same time. Like, Barry's out like going off of instinct, having the time of his life, and she's just kind of trapped in this like society. But in this society, like Barry needs to kind of start like using her money to like start buying influence and eventually earn the title he wants. And the narrator says something about like the ability to build a fortune, to get a fortune, is what also. Those qualities are also what causes people to lose their fortune too. And there's some interesting stuff with when he's trying in like when he's all his high society people trying to talk to them and such, and like just talk about how he's like supposed to raise armies to fight in America, like, and I think that's a bigger thing in the book actually, about how like Barry as like a guy who owns land and stuff like that, presumably like he's like a big figure, he can like tell people who live in his area like you go to war, stuff like that. He's like sending people off to die in battle. Like
I love that scene where he's meeting the king, and they talk like his friend just cues him up to the king. He's like, hey, like, Barry raised a regiment for you. And the king's like, good, maybe make another and go with him.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
But like the fact that
I really like the conversation his first sort of connection has with him, where he talks about his people. And he's like, my friends are the best people. And that doesn't necessarily mean that they're the most virtuous or the most clever or the most, whatever, but they're the best. And what that means is that there's nothing that can be doubted about that person. What this guy is really saying is like, if you're going to be in on my circle, we can do that, and there's loyalty, and you can do whatever you want, dude. You can honk titty, you can embarrass your family. We can hear all kinds of stories, but if you're one of my people, that means you're one of the best people.
Mm-hmm. Like, whatever scandals come your way, like, you can get whatever the fuck you want if you're that high up.
Yeah, and this is the guy who cues him up to the king.
Mm-hmm. And so, like, Barry's, like, trying to, like, wine and dine with whatever he can. And Bullingdon and Brian, like, we talked about this scene a little bit before, where they're doing the studies, and it culminates with Brian thinking that Bullingdon stole his pencil, because Brian's a little, he's a little kid, he's like, lost his pencil. And then, so, like, Brian just, like, gets very aggro, and it freaks out on him. And Bullingdon starts spanking Brian, and Barry walks in on the spanking. As punishment, Barry just, like, begins to cane Bullingdon again. And just, like, we've seen him, and, like, but Bullingdon kind of strikes back this time. He's like, he says to Barry, like, the next time this is the last time you're going to lay harm to me. Next time, I'm going to kill you. Like, Bullingdon fucking hates Barry so much. And, like, Barry's just seeing this guy as, like, this is someone who's, like, literally his entire family's, like, wealth and purse strings are tied to, unless he's able to con his way to the next social echelon. Like, he needs...
And what Barry should be seeing here is that this kid is game.
Yeah.
Like, he may not be an aggressive person like Barry is, but he is not fucking around when he tells this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so then Bullingdon kind of gets his revenge in the next scene, where Barry's having another high society party. And these high society parties look so fucking boring. They really do.
The chairs are, like, they look so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And they're so packed together. And, like, nobody has any, like, drinks or food.
Yeah, and you're watching a boring concert.
It's literally watching Lady Lyndon play with her religious advisor. And this is this is the scene where I want to take a second and tell a short personal story.
Go on.
My wife really likes this movie as well, and we were watching it together, and you get to this scene where there's this, like, shitty harpsichord performance, and everyone looks all bored in the room, and they're willing to show up and dress like that and put on a corset and have all of their servants drive them there so that they can sit down and watch this shitty concert, right? Like, this is how peerage works. This is how high society works. Mm-hmm. And then Barry commits the ultimate sin, which completely upends all of this. It's his primal nature cutting through all of it. And what happens is Lord Bullingdon walks into the room with Brian. Brian is wearing Lord Bullingdon's shoes, which, as you can tell by his face, he thinks is fucking hilarious. Like, this kid is so satisfied with himself, and he plays it so
they're loud,
well.
They're clomping, like...
It's so funny, and they're doing, like, a prank on the mom's performance. Wouldn't it be funny if I wore your shoes? Bullingdon's like, you know what? Fuck it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's do it. Like, let's do it. They get in there, and Bullingdon lays down this speech, kind of like Barry does against Quinn at the engagement dinner at the beginning of the film, where he's basically like, no, fuck you. Like, I have an opportunity to make this all go away, to not say anything, and I'm not taking it. Fuck you. I hate you. And Barry pounces on him and begins beating the fuck out of Lord Bullingdon at this golden harpsichord concert. which is so inappropriate. He's choking him like Homer Simpson choking Bart. Like, he is going crazy on this kid. And so I'm watching this movie with my wife, and I am just laughing my ass off at this scene. Like, this to me is where the comedy sort of comes to a head, and like Barry's his friction with the society really like shows, and it's this big hilarious moment. And my wife was really upset because what we're watching is a man choke his stepson intentionally to death. So I definitely see her viewpoint, but this did lead to a not insignificant disagreement that night, I would say, about like what is funny about that. And I'm like, well, he's got her around the neck, and he jumped on him, and it was so funny. And she thought it was upsetting. Which, so if the listener feels either way about that, I think I totally understand. But to me, this is like the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Because he ruins his life in such a spectacular manner. And, like, it takes, like, 13 guys to pull him off of Bullingdon.
He's like, ah!
He hates his kid so much.
The room is made of, like, gold.
Yeah.
They're all sitting on these gold chairs watching this shitty concert. And, yeah, he just turns into a demon for 10 seconds and completely ruins his life.
Yeah. And, like, people, like, he gets ostracized from high society for this. But I don't know, if I was in high society, I'd be like, fuck, that was better than the harpsichord concert. I'm sorry, like, that was way more interesting.
Yeah,
it's like
exactly. I mean, that's the difference for that guy who's like, my friends are the best people.
Yeah, it's
like you know what he means is like they can do shit, you know, like beat up their son, but they can't do it in front of all of us at the harpsichord conference. Yeah. Now we have to do something about it.
It's kind of like the Oscars when Will Smith slapped Chris Rock. Like, it made the event, like, you know, whatever, boring event, but it made the like, that's way more exciting.
I agree.
And that was funny, too.
Yeah. Keep, wait a second. Keep my, what's he mad about? Keep my Irish ways out of your mouth.
Yeah.
There we go.
So, like, with all this, because Barry spent so much money trying to get, like, the approval of all these high society people, all these parties. And now it's completely just ostracized. So all that money is wasted. All the bills are coming due at once. And because like he doesn't have any of his peers to spend time with, now he starts to spend even more time with his son Brian. And the narrator says something nice about how, like, you know, even people notice that Barry loves his son Brian. He's a good father to him, you know, and like it's one thing that Barry is objectively, he's a good father to this one kid there. Horrible stepfather, but good father to this one kid. But the narrator also tells us that this kid's not long for the world, and Barry is destined to leave no child behind. And
this is when they show him and the kid in they're like sadly fishing in the pond. Mm-hmm. Him and Brian are sitting in the boat with their chins on their hand, and there's just a dog sitting in the boat with them all board.
Like they're riding like, on horseback. So, like Barry's on a full-size horse, Brian's on like a little pony. It's like, Father, I want a full-size horse for a birthday gift. And you know, it's like, okay, well, like, you're a little small for that. And so Barry ends up buying this big horse for his son because he wants to please his son so much. He buys this big-ass horse. And, you know, the kid correctly guesses at dinner he's getting a horse for his birthday. Both parents are like, do not ride that horse without supervision because you will, like, hurt yourself. And he does.
I've seen this movie, you know. you get a fancy little kid a horse that he's not ready for. I am aware what's going to happen in the next beat of that plot. We're not going to talk about the movie. Yeah. We're not going to talk about the movie we mean. We're not going to talk about it because there's other stuff we got to talk about if we talk about that movie. But I have seen this movie before.
Yeah. And so, of course, he gets on the horse, and we see the terrifying scene of like the horse whipping Brian from it. And it's shot in such a crazy loud way. The horse makes such a loud noise. And I was watching the special features on the Criterion set, and they're talking about filming the scene. Like, oh yeah, like I thought they used like maybe like I don't know, like a little person's stunt double, but they threw a kid off that horse. It may not have been the actor, but like they threw a kid off the horse, and like
they were just fed up with the kid on set. I think he'd been such a pain in the ass that they were ready to toss him off of something.
Yeah, and like I think it was like the editor or like the assistant director was just like, yeah, like it was such a good. It was awful, but it was a good shot, and like it was like the one scene in the movie that Stanley did not shoot twice because it was good the first time. Because like you can imagine where Stanley Kubrick was just like, we're gonna keep throwing more kids off of horses.
Yeah.
And so like so the doctors can't do anything to save the kid or help the kid out, and
the kid's like, if I die, will I go to heaven?
Yeah.
And the viewer's kind of like, ooh, usually with a kid, this is an easy answer.
Yeah. And so, like, Brian's all paralyzed. He can only feel his hands. He asks, like, am I dying? He's like, oh, you're not going to die, kid. And, like, but, like, are all the rest of the parts of my body dead except for my hands is the only thing I can feel. And Ryan O'Neal plays this part incredibly well. Like, he's just trying to comfort his kid, but he also can't hold it back. And
you buy that he loves Brian. He sells the hell out of that. Just how you buy that he loves Tatum, regardless of what he did.
Yeah, exactly.
You see both.
Yeah, he's a good actor. Yeah. Yeah. And Brian gets both his parents to hold his hand, asks them not to quarrel and to love each other so they can all meet again in heaven. And Brian asks for a bedtime story again, so Barry tells like the embellished war story about cutting off heads again as his kid dies.
He's like sobbing.
Yeah.
He talks about it.
And I chop this guy's head off, chop that guy's head off.
We were 10 rampaging he-devils.
It's like, oh my god, Barry, like that's such like, you hyped up this one story to your son about this one big fib, and like that is your way to comfort your kid. It's like, it's your lying got you to this point, your lying got you to this misery, and now your son is dead. And the
thing that comforts this kid more than anything is about hearing his dad cut people's heads off.
Yeah. Oh god, this movie's so darkly funny.
Yeah, it is. This is also, I think, a really interesting thing about the candlelight starts to happen. And I would say it happens basically at the beginning of Act 2, but you really start to see it here, where they are now extinguishing candles basically progressively through the rest of the film. Mm-hmm. Like, the painterly scenes that were so full of light and showing the outdoors are now entirely interior. Mm-hmm. And they're extinguishing candles where you might see natural light cut through from a curtained window or something. Mm-hmm. But it's getting dark, and there are shadows, and there's this like great high contrast happening with the darkness that's entering from these extinguished candles.
Another part of production movie too that I think I missed on earlier was that during production the troubles were at their peak in Ireland, and someone gave Kubrick a phone call for filming in Ireland that if you don't move production out of this country, we're gonna bomb your set. So,
wow. And they only have to get lucky once.
Yeah, and Kubrick was just like, I'm not gonna risk it. So he moved up. So, like, they moved all the exterior shots from being in Ireland to England, Scotland, and Germany. So they fled Ireland because of threats. So
interesting.
So, like, I'm sure, like,
oh shoot, can we go shoot this actually 20 minutes from my house?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah. It's also that too. Yeah.
Can you guys scout locations that are like all right by London for some reason?
Yeah. Yeah, Kubrick's also, like, he famously, Eyes Wide Shut is all filmed in England, despite it being all set in
Full Metal Jacket, too, is, like, all, like, right by London. He didn't want to be in a car for more than 30 minutes.
Yeah, yeah, so maybe he called in the bomb threat himself. But, yeah, like, that could be a reason why there's a lot more interior scenes in the back half. I think just by the nature of the back half of the movie, it is a lot more interiors anyway. But you're right with the candles being a lot more... The lighting is different, right? It is the life of Barry's, like the joy of Barry's life is kind of, starting to fade a bit. And so is the lighting. And because Barry at this point, he's becoming an alcoholic entirely. Like his servants have to like drag him into bed and such. And at Brian's funeral they had, I noticed they used the same sheep carriage that they did at the birthday party. He is drawn in the exact same carriage, and the sheep have the same hats on. Except instead of him in their shaking streamer, it is the ever-troubling tiny coffin. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's sad. And, like, the actor who plays Little Brian there, like, he is really good. Like, because you've seen the versions of this kid before, but it's an annoying-sounding kid, but he plays the kind of innocence so well that it works. Compared to the Bullingdon child actor who's like resentful, like it's a good contrast between the two child actors.
Absolutely.
And so while Barry succumbs like the bottle to get a solace, Lady Lyndon turns on religion, so she becomes a lot more devout towards her faith. And Barry's mother, who's now doing the finances for the place, she's trying to save money and fires Lady Lyndon's reverend. And she was like the reverend's also the one who's like the teacher for the kids.
Reverend Runt.
Reverend Runt. Yeah.
Don't skip his name.
Runt.
Once again, in a very Kubrick fashion, they have like it hilariously on the nose names. Mm-hmm. And his name, he's like a little like Pee Wee Herman.
He does look like Pee Wee Herman, yeah.
And he looks like a mime just standing next to her all the time.
Yeah. And
his name is Reverend Runt, which is great.
Yeah. Maybe he is the English Pee Wee.
Yeah. That's dangerous to talk about.
So like Runt gets fired, and and Barry's mom is like, it's all Reverend Runt's fault that Lady Lyndon's all melancholic and depressed. So Lady Lyndon tries to kill herself with some poison, and clearly not a good firing to do. And Reverend Runt and the family steward Graham, they write to Bullingdon to get him to return to the estate to help out his mom. And Bullingdon returns with wonderful swag.
This is awesome.
Like where he comes
pacing back and forth across the room.
Yeah, he's got a cane. He's like determined. He walks in the room and it's like sees there's a bunch of guys playing cards. Barry's like passed out. He's been drinking, and Bullingdon like wakes him up with the cane. And
I think this is I don't know, but I feel like this is the most iconic shot of the movie. Like, It really builds to this where there's these amazing shadows in this room, and there's this light cutting through, this natural light cutting through from a window. It's the only light in the room. And there's these, like, very sort of backgroundy guys playing cards, really like in that way that we were talking about, where they're moving so slowly that it's kind of hypnotic. And then Barry has got his chin down to his chest and his gut sticking out, and he's wearing this new like blue suit, and he looks like some sort of like busted Napoleon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's great. And like Bullingdon's just like Bullingdon challenges Barry to a duel to restore the honor of being humiliated at the society party. And this, of course, another gorgeous scene. So this duel is now set in a barn this time, and like there's a bunch of doves cooing around behind them. It's like a concrete. So like the barn has like little slits for windows. So like it's a lot of like just coming in, a lot of hay on the floor. You expect like a lot more of a glamorous thing for a big final duel, but it's interesting that it's kind of enclosed in kind of like in a structure instead for this final thing. And
musty hay-filled barn.
Yeah,
full of bird shit.
Probably full of like pig shit too. And
yeah.
So the procedure's laid out by the guy who was like overseeing the duel. And Bullington's incredibly anxious. He's trembling. He's like the way he's holding his gun and like his actions, like he does not really want to do this too much. But like he's desperate to kind of like prove himself in front of his stepfather he absolutely despises. And so Bullington,
he's game. I mean, he's scared, but he's game. He wants that guy out of there.
Yeah.
Like he knows that he's not for this world or for this job, but he's ready to step up to the task. I mean, for as scared as he's acting, the guy is being incredibly brave.
Mm-hmm. And so Bullington wins the coin toss that decides who gets to fire first. So he's ready to go, almost like makes the steps back, and he accidentally fires his gun to the ground. And it's just like the absolute like just it's funny, it's dark, it's just like shocking that like, oh god, now it's Barry's turn to return fire on him. And
Barry as a full-on Terminator at this point.
And so like that counts as a shot. Like Bullington's like, oh, like maybe it was loaded wrong, but like, no, that counts as a shot. Now it's Barry's turn to return fire on you. And Bullington runs to the side of the hangs onto the wall and starts puking his guts out. He's completely terrified. Like, he's could die any second now. And
the sound is so good.
Yeah.
The puking sound is so gross.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah. I saw on IMDb, but I couldn't confirm it, that apparently that was his own puke, where he ate a heavy breakfast. Kubrick got him to eat a bunch of raw eggs to force himself to puke.
Damn.
Which it looks and sounds real.
Got that salmonella insurance package.
So now, since Barry's turn to fire, Barry does like the one good thing in his life and purposely fires his gun into the ground. And I think Barry almost might assume that the duel's over. He got satisfaction. The duel observer asks if Bullingdon has received satisfaction from Barry just giving him a shot there. Bullingdon's like,
well, and he asked him if you'll be considered a boy. He's like, we are willing to consider you a boy in the same way that Barry did against Quinn. Mm-hmm. And Bullingdon's like, fuck you.
Yeah. And Bullingdon gets another pistol. And Bullingdon fires a shot and hits Barry right in the shin. And Barry's taken to an inn.
It looks like it really hurts.
Oh, God, yeah. The doctor says that an artery was severed and the bone is completely shattered, and that he's going to have to amputate the leg below the knee. And Barry's like, why did you do that? Like, well, it's either that or your life. And so, yep, there goes Barry Lyndon's leg. And Graham, the steward, he meets up with Barry and his mother at the end there. And Lord Bullingdon is willing to offer 500 guineas a year for them to leave England and to leave the Lyndon family forever. And if Barry decides to reject that and decides if he wants to stay, he'll probably be arrested for all the outstanding debts for all those extra parties he was hosting and such. So we see Barry kind of with his one leg there and his crutches, kind of hobble his way into a carriage, and he gets into it and it looks very comfortable getting into it. And the narrator just suggests that Barry goes to the Americas, and they think that they resumed his life as a gambler, but no one truly knows what has become of him. And the final part of the movie is back at the Lyndon estate there. Lady Lyndon signs the annual check that Barry's getting, with Bullingdon just observing. And then we says epilogue. It was in the rain.
There's a really nice open curtain during that scene where they're signing the checks, and you sort of see natural light coming back into the Lyndon estate, sort of. Without Barry there, you see the light come back in and the heavy curtains open.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous final, actual shot of the movie. It's really nice looking. I think it is actually a reference to a painting as well. Forget which one, but I saw someone on Twitter a year or two ago point it out. But
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not super educated about this stuff, but overall, I feel like the movie looks like the Dutch masters paintings. It seems like that style.
Yeah, and so we get a card saying epilogue. It was in the reign of George III that the aforesaid personages lived and quarreled. Good or bad, handsome or rich or poor, they're all equal now. So basically, just everyone here is dead, and none of it mattered.
Yeah.
Which is a great punchline for the movie.
Yeah. What Barry's mom said, money, when applied intentionally and directly, can move things. And that's the exercise that we've just watched, is a guy step into this crumbling social peerage system and realize that it's not that hard to just carve right through it.
Yeah, and it truly is not that hard for him whatsoever. If he was someone with a bit more savvy to him, he probably would not have had this big downfall. If he shows...
Yeah, he's like if you put all of your points into charisma and strength and none into int. He's like a 3 int.
There's a world where if he was nice to Bullingdon, everything would turn out totally fine. But he just, it's funny, he continued the cycle of he wanted a father figure, and then he was not able to be a father figure to someone that was not his own kin. Yet he had so many father figures that were not his own blood. And he just could not do that for Bullingdon. And by being mean to that kid, and that bit him in the ass in the end, and literally bit his leg off.
Yeah, he couldn't recognize the cycle coming back around.
Yeah.
He pushes out this aging rival, and then as the younger rivals come to him, he doesn't accept that it's time for Barry Lyndon to leave the sun.
Yeah. So this ending was all by Kubrick. So Kubrick was the sole writer for the movie. So in the original book, the ending is that Barry sends Bullingdon off to fight in America, send him off to war, and he gets message that Bullingdon died in combat. And then then it turns out that Bullingdon actually survived once the war is over, so he gets sent back home, and Barry ends up, no duel happens, but Barry ends up going to jail, and Barry dies from drinking cheap prison liquor, which I think is actually kind of better for Bullingdon to be a bit more. It's more poetic for Bullingdon to actually be more direct with it, and he has this big return, but having the duel there and having Barry have like the one good moment of him firing away the shot and not just killing the kid right there. Like
I can't imagine anything in any world being better than that scene that I saw. Beyond the issues of like once you tread into the American Revolution, there's all these other scenes that you'd have to add to the movie. But yeah, I mean the direct conflict and the whole westernness of it, and the whole like two male orangutans or whatever challenging each other, of that we see, like it's much better for it to be direct, because that is the cycle coming back around on Barry.
Yeah, I think it's a perfect ending to a perfect movie.
Yeah, but
people back then did not think it was a perfect movie. So it was released December 1975. Did not do well financially. It made $20 million off of $12 million budget, but a lot of the money came overseas, so they get less of a percentage back on it. So Warner Brothers treated it as a disappointment, to the point where when Kubrick picked his next project, so his next project would be The Shining, but he picked that one because it's going to be a lot more commercial. Even something like Full Metal Jacket, that's a very commercial project. Eyes Wide Shut, that was like Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise at their height. So like this is the last kind of free reign movie he got to make himself off of just his name, because this one was just not.
It's interesting to think about like a French guy taking his grandpa to see this movie because it's a 7 Years War movie. I imagine it did well overseas.
Yeah,
it's like taking your grandpa to see like Saving Private Ryan, except he was like a Hessian mercenary.
Yeah, and the general thoughts, the critics, they were mixed on it because like they thought it was long and slow, and both Charles Champlin and Pauline Kael had this like similar comment in their reviews where they refer to the movie as a coffee table book. It's something that's full of great images, but like it's not exciting to flip through. It's something big, unwieldy, something that just sits there. It looks good, but like it's not like a quick novel. It's not like a fun novel, a fun read to do. But despite all the mixed reception, it was still up for 7 Oscars, so it was up for Best Picture even, but it won for art direction, cinematography, costume design, and music. But it was the same year that One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest won Best Picture, and that category was stacked. So it was One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Barry Lyndon, Dog Day Afternoon, Jaws, Nashville.
I mean, I love this movie. I don't know if I'm giving it all the awards that year. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's a lot of things you can divide and conquer that year. You can give awards to a lot of great movies that year. That's a stacked year. But I noticed,
I get not giving Kubrick any personals for this one. I mean, when you've got to divide things like that, it's not like he's like not doing amazing work as a director, but this is a movie that really highlights things like cinematography and costume design.
Yeah, I think it won the right awards for sure. Like cinematography, This is like one of the best looking movies ever. Like, and to love innovative things with camera work, and like a bunch of the stuff they did in this movie kind of was like proto Steadicam work. So like this movie actually like changed. This was like wasn't directly Steadicam technology, but it pretty much influenced what Steadicam technology would become next couple years. So this movie kind of is groundbreaking cinema for that alone. And it seems like pretty much everyone.
Did you know that the original Steadicam, what they would do is they would hire like a really small cameraman, and they would hire really large guys to just carry him?
Are you serious?
No.
I'm just trying to imagine. It's like Master Blaster from
yeah. You would have two huge gay guys in leotards, and they were really buff and hairy.
Yeah.
And they would carry the cameraman.
Carry a little twink around.
Yeah, and he can kind of bounce around or whatever, but they provide this like regulating force.
Do you think that was like the original patent for it?
Yeah, it was called Steadicam actually originally.
But like, it seems like after Kubrick passed away, every one of his movies got completely reappraised too. So like, this went from being like a lesser one. Like we talked about before, how like high school boys are not going to say this is the best Kubrick movie compared to like Full Metal Jacket or Shining or 2001: Space Odyssey. Those a lot more exciting movies. But like now, like this movie is considered like one of the best movies of all time. Like it was 12th in the Sight and Sound Directors Poll back in 2002. Martin Scorsese, Kurosawa, Lars von Trier says like one of their favorite movies too. A lot of influence. You can see a lot of influence in like in Age of Innocence. A lot of that is clearly a lot of the imagery from Barry Lyndon, for example. One thing I've seen like I didn't see a lot of the reviews for the back in 1975 or so. Like a lot of people were not commenting on the humor of the movie. And as we talked about, this movie is extremely fucking funny. And I think people kind of...
And the same thing happens again with Eyes Wide Shut.
Exactly, yeah. Eyes Wide Shut is
It's not marketed as a comedy, so people don't get it. And it's not like did you know that movie's actually a comedy kind of thing? Like, it doesn't really take that. Like, if you just sit it and watch it, like, there's all of these societal manners situations going on, and a guy walks into them and acts ridiculous. I mean, that's comedy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like they're deeply funny movies. But yeah, I think you're right about the marketing, right? So like, it's hard for me to really say like, oh yeah, Barry Lyndon is like a comedy, you should go see it. But like, I don't know, back to the Marty Supreme example, or Uncut Gems. You can try to say like Uncut Gems is. I think Uncut Gems is probably the best example. Like, would you consider Uncut Gems to be a comedy? Because like, would you?
Yeah, no, it's a whatever. It's a thriller or something.
It's a thriller that happens to be extremely funny. Like, you're not going to... Because some people might think, walking to Uncut Gems, if you tell them it's a comedy, they might think it's like Wedding Crashers or something, but like, it's not.
No, it's a funny movie, and that's I think Kubrick always does. I don't think he has any movies that aren't funny. I mean, even like Paths of Glory has... The scenes with the captains, like the generals, like being so ridiculous. Like there's like Hal in 2001 is hilarious.
Oh, absolutely,
like, yeah. There's the idea that he is not somebody who has a dial on funny, despite the fact that he directed and wrote Doctor Strangelove, which is like one of the funniest movies of all time, and intentionally so. He's always being intentionally funny, and he's the person who got Lolita right because it's funny. Yeah, like, he makes it funny. He's like, this guy, this Humper guy is a fucking dingus, and like that. That's what makes it work. You put Peter Sellers in it.
Yeah, like it's like I think people kind of figured out Kubrick who he actually is, rather than him just being like. The idea, like, we're reviewing this movie back then, is like, he's good at the visuals, but he's lost the touch. And even some of The Shining got, like, shit reviews, too, because, like, The Shining is a really funny movie as well, but, like, the visuals are good, but nothing else. And Kubrick became, like, a visuals guy in the public perception, which, like, there's a lot of substance in his later movies, if not more substance in the later movies than his earlier movies. I think, like, Barry Lyndon and Full Metal Jacket and Eyes Wide Shut are some of his best movies, have a lot more to say than something earlier, like The Killing, for example.
To the degree that they stop using lines that don't serve the theme. Like, they become actually kind of like airtight in that way, where especially movies like Full Metal Jacket and Eyes Wide Shut, and they don't say anything that's not about what the movie's about. Like, they become like very intentional substantively.
Yeah, like he's truly one of the best filmmakers ever. Like,
that's what I'm coming around to. I mean, we sit around here talking. Is I think this guy's actually pretty good.
Yeah, hot take. Yeah, but do you have any final thoughts about Barry Lyndon?
Oh, it's just great. I mean, I just love the movie. I love Stanley Kubrick. There's a lot caught up in this movie. I've been made aware that the recent production Housemaid has some jokes about the sort of bad performative male character being obsessed with Barry Lyndon. I think that is societally and culturally right on as a reference. God bless for roasting me or whatever. But I think what most people miss about this movie, which is this thing that I keep saying, is that it's just really entertaining. Like, you think you're going to have to sit down with genealogical maps and a map of Europe and learn all these things about high society and the different relationships, and you really don't. I mean, it's just funny, and every scene is entertaining, and I think that you will have a great time if you sit down and watch it.
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone should go watch this movie. Also, it's insane that you listen to this podcast this far and not watch the movie at this point. But yeah, thank you so much.
How are we? I don't think you usually go this long. I think we might be reaching longest movie pod territory here.
Oh no, my Resident Evil episode was 2.5 hours long.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that's impressive. Yeah.
Yep. But this is up there. This is up there for sure. But it's a long movie and it was a great discussion. So thank you so much for joining me, Dabber.
Thanks. Yeah, happy to be here.
Yeah.
And, happy to come back.
Absolutely. This is a lot of fun. Anything you wanted to plug?
So there's the 21 Savage Barry Lyndon edit. Just search 21 Savage Barry Lyndon online, and that's a Twitter post from some time ago. But I'm sure it's made itself to every platform because it's marvelous. It's nearly as good as Barry Lyndon itself. Otherwise, gosh, what do I do that isn't related to my government name? I am Daberhasher on Blue Sky. If you have any problems with me or anything, you can come say it to my fucking face over there. Otherwise, I am spending a lot of time on the Action Boys podcast Discord.
Yep, I had Matt on here earlier for Rocky 4, and he plugged the Discord too. It's a very fun Discord.
Yeah, please don't join.
Yeah, don't join. No, we're good.
No, it's pretty hermetically sealed right now from any problems. So yeah,
we got the perfect equilibrium going.
Yeah, just leave us alone.
All right, well, thank you so much again for joining me. You can follow me on Twitter, Blue Sky, and Letterboxd at bwishart. You can also follow MoviePod on Twitter, Blue Sky, YouTube, and Instagram. Until next time on MoviePod, thank you for listening and take care.